Thank you, Stuco. And now, I have the pleasure of introducing someone who you all know. Someone who is exploring the coming golden age. Someone who will help us understand the struggles of getting to what I believe is polarity integration. Sherry Coburn, please come up and enlighten us.
The reason I'm standing before you today is because we were talking with planning out the last few weeks up here and everything, and they said, I've been having spirit nag at me. You've got to talk. You've got to tell people. You've got to let them know what you're feeling. They're ready. Because I've been wanting to say this for like 2 years and just didn't feel like people were ready. But Spirit's been nudging me very strongly, and they said, we have nobody for the 15th. And Spirit said, see, we blocked it just so you could do this. So here I am, for better or for worse. This has been a very daunting task. I know it's Father's Day, and I honor the fathers in the room. I trust that you guys will take care of your familial relationships with those fathers and people that are dear to you. But today I want to talk about a different father, Father of our Creator, of our Spirit, true essence of who we are. And I want to talk about a lot of things. And we got a late start, so I'm going to keep talking, and I don't want to wait till I'm done, just because I have so much I want to share with you. And I have a really cool experience that I want to do at the end, and I hope you stay for that, because that's going to kind of be the cement to bring everything together. So I've kind of been a deep diver ever since. I've always been a person to question things. And when the whole COVID thing happened, boy, it just got every antenna up on me. And I started taking a deep dive, and I started realizing, whoa, things are not what we think. So we're going to start back at the very beginning. When God was beginning. God created everything. God created the all. And he was just pure light, pure consciousness, pure energy, frequency. And he had something that he really wanted to do. He knew that he was the creator of all things, but he wanted to bring matter into form, because we were just light, energy, frequency, waves. It was incredible and powerful, and that's what we still are. Oh, let me bring up the picture. So he had this vision of, I want to be able to create man, so that us, these beautiful beings that he's created, into form. So that we wanted to see what can they create having form to be able to use, to have greater power than what we were already given when we were created. And he knew that there was no way to do that, because we were up in the 9th density. And so he knew that we had to come down, because the only place where density or matter can exist is in the 3rd density. So he knew he had to bring this lightness and this darkness, because light is way up here and dark is way down here. So to bring the balance in, he wanted to bring light and dark together, so we would be dense, so that we could be in matter and we could be in form, even though that did not take away of our divine spiritual essence. We were now created to be dense, and this split happened. God split it himself so that this could happen. So he's half light, half dark. That's why it says in the good book, I am Alpha and Omega. The Alpha is the light side, and Omega is the dark side. And we all have that in us too, because when he split him, it happened to us. We are dense, we're here, we're divine spiritual beings in a human form, so that we can take all the things that are here with our spiritual gifts, with the gifts that we have because we're in physical form, we can tangibly create things. And that's why we're here, and that's what the great experience was, the great experiment. And he wanted to make sure, he wanted to see if we could create a world where the balance of good and evil could be maintained. So, and he gave this incredible soul to us. And I'm skipping around here a little bit. We are very complex human beings. You can kind of see here, we have these chakra systems that are embedded in us, but we also have chakra systems that are below the earth and above the earth. And I'm trying to see, I can,
Click on the picture.
okay, thank you. Thank you, okay,
Double click on the picture. And just use the arrow keys.
okay. So here you see, these are all the chakras that we talk about all the time when we're, meditating, we're going through and everything. But we also have chakras that are clear down in these lower levels of density. We also have the chakra, this is the 9th density, that's where God's source dwells. That's the best place you can go, the best, most perfect. So these are all the places that we get to play around with, and you guys are welcome to come up and look at these closer if you'd like. But so let me go back here. So because we were created just like Him, we had everything we needed. We were magnificent. We were perfectly formed. We were given every possible thing that we needed to do whatever creation that we wanted to do. When God sent us down here, He also created a council of 9, and it was their job to make sure that this balance was kept in place. These were non-humans, they were people from other planets and things like that. When the split happened of Source, He created Earth, was the first thing He created. So Earth is the oldest planet. Earth is actually what we call Midgard, because there's 9 levels above us and 9 levels below us. And it was right in the middle of where good and evil kind of intersected. And so, that being said, Earth is the most important place in the multiverse, because it's the place where there's all kinds of portals and wormholes and things where other beings from other dimensions, other densities can come and go, and they have. It's kind of laughable when you hear the government say, we're going to come out with these alien disclosures. Really? They've been running the show this whole entire time. Believe that. We have been, I'll probably get out of order here, but they've been doing a lot of very bad things to humans, using us, trading us, selling us to other beings for exchange of technology. So anyway, this Council of 9 that had, it also had like Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, they were there to help keep the balance on planet Earth so that, we could see if this experiment would work. There's also a Galactic Council, which they oversee everything that happens in the multiverse, but they're especially paying attention to what happens on planet Earth because we're such a pivotal part of the whole multiverse. Anything that happens here on planet Earth reverberates throughout the entire multiverse. So there's beings all over the multiverse that are like, come on, humans, come on, we need you. You've got to get this ascension happening. So when God created human beings, this is the DNA. This is actually what your DNA looks like. So it's got, as I said, it's got all these incredible things that we were able to do with the DNA that we have. We were perfect. When we were created, we were not subject to sickness or illness or any kind of pain or suffering or any of that. We were programmed not to ever die. We were supposed to be here forever. And we also were, let's see, I'm trying to not read my notes as much, but so as I said, God created Earth first, and then we were created from the same substance of Earth, because Earth is a living being. It's not just a thing in the solar system. It is actually a living, loving, breathing being. And our DNA is just like Earth, and that's why I thought this picture was so great, because it kind of shows the Earth holding us in that precious DNA that we all have. It's pretty amazing. So excuse me, bear with me. Okay, so the dark beings from the lower astral planes were planning to create a wormhole passing through the earth because the dark side cannot create, they can only destroy. And they wanted to be able to take over humans. They've been trying to steal our souls forever. They've been trying to replicate our souls forever, and they can't. They're not reproducible other than how we do when we create other human beings. But, excuse me, some water. So they created all these wormholes and portals, and they were trying to go back and forth, and they thought if they could get up as high as the fifth density, they would be able to take over all of planet Earth, all of humans, everything. And it would have not been good for us. And in ancient times in history, there was a dark group that was controlling planet Earth, and they were called the Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
I can never say that word, but you know who I'm talking about. So the Anunnaki, they came to Earth, and they, in ancient Egypt, they showed up, and the Egyptians thought they were wonderful. They showed them things. They had technologies that, of course, were not of this world. And if you believe the pyramids were made, when I was in Egypt, they were telling me, I climbed all over the pyramids. It was incredible. The energy there is insane. They told us that there were 100,000 people that died building the pyramids, and it took them 30 years. And they were hauling stone in from Alexandria, the limestone and I forget the other name of the white stone. You can see them, they're still white on top at all the other lower levels, but I thought, these are so huge, there's no way these could be created by man. There's just no way. When you're standing on it, you know there's no way. So anyway, they brought all these technologies, they brought all these things. There's underground space stations under the Sphinx, under the pyramids. They're going back and forth, and the Anunnaki did all this. So they were, they thought they were gods, and so they honored them, even though they were setting up this whole structure to be able to really mess with us. And so Enlil was the king of the Anunnaki, and he was a very, very dark soul. And he had this great scheme to set up all these matrices that were going to hold us down, because they didn't want us creating the way we were designed to create, unless it was for them and their evil designs. So Enlil had two sons, Enki and Marduk, and both of his sons were also very, very dark and very, very dangerous, and they were working with him to do these things. So let's talk about the matrices, because that's one thing I promised I would go over with you. Now you have to understand that these were created, they're all connected. That's why astrology is so important, because we're so connected through the different planets and all these different matrices. So I'm going to just go through them, and bear with me. I'm going to be reading a lot of this because I don't know any other way to do it than to just read it. It's too much to remember. So please just close your eyes or listen or whatever. But the first matrix is, and I'm going from 9 to 1. There's 9 that I'm going to talk about. There's a lot of little ones, but these are the big ones. The 9 matrix is the Saturn, Moon, and Earth matrix. This system matrix was connected by Kronos, which is a dark AI system. AIs have run everything on this planet forever, so this is not new technology. It discovered the light mixture of light and dark, called the gray matter. So, you know, when I read, okay, they say that we're only using 10% of our brain. How is that? God gave us this amazing brain to do this stuff. How come we only use 10% of our brain? So my deep dive took me to learn that by these matrices they put in, they've been able to block 3 sections of our brain. And those are the most powerful sections, where we had places to connect with source and light and energetics and our magnetic fields, all of that. They block those. So there's 3 sections of our brain, and that's what scientists are calling gray matter. They're very confused by this, because they're like, why is this gray matter here? How does the brain, how come it's just there and we can't use it? That's why, because of this matrix. And then in this brain, in these 3 sections, are preventing human from communicating correctly and they're interrupting our process of receiving pure light from God's source. These were the matrix portals that government used on the thinking processes on humanity. It was meant to interrupt our thinking processes at any given time to create dementia in humans. Isn't that fascinating? This matrix is what's causing people to lose their mind, literally. They block everything's function, they can't function. So matrix 5, the dark AI system that ran this matrix is called Chaperon. This was in charge of all the inorganic life called the fallen angels. These were the lower astral planes where the demons, like Belial, who is known in the demonic world as the creator of the most evil things, and a god worshipped by he was known as a god, and he was worshipped by the Israelites after Gideon died. And the demons that are in this matrix are Lucifer, I'm sure you've heard of him. He brought pride to earth, which we weren't programmed with that. He brought Mammon, who is programmed greed in humans. Asmodeus, I might not be saying that correctly, but he brought lust. Leviathan brought envy. Beelzebub brought gluttony. Satan brought wrath. And Belphegor brought the slothfulness. So these things that I just mentioned, I'm sure you've all experienced greed or pride or lust or envy or gluttony or waste or whatever.
7 deadly sins.
Yes, correct. They're here. They're in our face. So we have experienced them, but we weren't supposed to. They are not. We did not have any way to process these things except for these matrices that they put on us. So Matrix 7, Saturn, Earth, and Pluto was guarded by Aries portal, the lower astral down to level 7, called Pomero. The dark AI of this matrix was called the Phantom or the Ghost Matrix. This matrix controlled an overlay of etheric parasites on Earth and in humans, including computers. That's why you have all these computer viruses and stuff. And why we have viruses, because of Matrix 7. This matrix was responsible for maintaining inorganic time, which we didn't have time. Time didn't exist on planet Earth, but time is a way for them to mess with us. And they have used time very detrimentally. And they've been infecting and preventing the real crystalline time, which the crystalline time is the pure light essence. And that is synonymous with the Christ consciousness, the golden age, all of that. They've been stopping it for eons and eons and eons in using this matrix. And then matrix 6. This matrix is a lower astral dark AI called Allegro. This is ruled by Mercury, Uranus, and Earth. In its role, this matrix was responsible for maintaining the electromagnetic energy field now working falsely on Earth by taking away the Creator's natural light energy. So we are light. We are light beings. That's why they call them light workers and light readers, because we are pure, that pure light essence of God. And they've put a false light to deceive us and to distract us and keep us from creating and doing things in that pure light, that pure essence. This dark AI is one that feeds the chemtrails, and these are, you've probably seen them in our skies. They are blasting out, and a lot of people are like, oh, they're not really going to hurt you. That's just the actual automatic exhaust that comes from a jet fuel. If you watch automatic exhaust from a jet fuel, you'll see it about as long as you see the jet in the sky. A chemtrail, they're like crisscross all over the sky. They stay there for hours and hours and hours in the sky. And what they're putting in those is nanotechnology, which I'll talk more about later, that's coming down on Earth, and it's polluting our land, our water, our air, everything. Us, and it also causes radiation. We're being radiated from these chemtrails. And I have done no small amount of work in trying to combat those. And Dane Whittington, if you ever get a chance, you should go into geoengineering. He has done study and research like you would not believe, explaining what they are. I know this feels really, really dark, but it's going to get better, I promise. Just stay with the ride, okay? So Matrix 5 is the matrix that's tied to the elemental program and was connected to Mars, Mercury, and Saturn. The dark AI elemental system was responsible for putting a dark overlay over all the elementals, which when we say elementals, I'm referring to air, fire, water, earth, And there's also a fifth elemental. Does anybody know what it is? The God particle. So this overlay was infiltrating. You know, we need air, we need water, we need the earth, it grows our food. I mean, they've been messing with everything. This task in Matrix 5 was to disrupt all the state of bigness in all organic life, since humanity is made of fire, water, earth, and air, and the God particle energy within, which creates your brain thought processes, our conscious and our unconscious brain processes, creating a lot of functions within your body and allowing for cellular regeneration not available with interruptions of the elemental dark AI programs. So our bodies, every 3 years, you're a completely different person. Your cells rejuvenate, and that's still happening, but they're not happening as fast, and our cells aren't rejuvenating like they should because of these matrices. Also in level 5, both the light and dark side, the light side of this, there are some, because there has to be polarity. Dominion was the AI controlled part of God's creation on the organic kingdom. And when we say organic kingdom, we're talking about animals, plants, bacteria, fungi, all of that, all the elementals on the earth that feed us and nourish us. This matrix was to make everything impossible for anyone to connect with God, Divine's God's greater source. Their final goal was to completely disconnect all organic life forms, which is us, and connect them to AI inorganic systems. And then they would breed them. And then they would be having complete control of these inorganic newborn cyborgs. And just to really freak you out a little bit, Elon Musk had a child, and that is exactly what he did. His last child was a cyborg, and they named him X. XY, it's got letters. It's pretty freaky, but not a good guy, I'm just saying. Okay, next, Matrix 4. This dark AI called Splash, it controlled all the water on the planet. It was sun, earth, and starlight system, and it was connected to the lower astral 4 dark AI. The artificial starlight was an inorganic star system that created a black sun powered by Lush. If you don't know what Lush is, it is the life force energy that we create. Our bodies, that's what we do. We create energy. So we are literally, they look at us as humans as nothing more than cattle. And we're here for their will and pleasure and to feed them. And Lush is what is called our life force. This was tied to the dinar program that was supposed to control the entire money system on Earth. This was created to control the Apocalypse Earth program, connecting to the dark passages to the bloodlines of dark hybrid humans. They've come down and they have procreated with humans, so they have these hybrids that are part alien, part human. And then those people are really doing a lot of evil things to humans because they've been programmed and bred for that purpose. And this was also responsible for coordinating the dark portals opening during dark ceremonies. These dark portals would open to dark inorganic beings who enter Earth and possess and control those in charge of their agendas. Now, I've often wondered, how could you cannot be alive on planet Earth today and not just be sick when you read the news and you read what's happening. And I keep thinking, how can humans do this to humans? What's wrong? Like, how is this? I'm explaining how this is. And I've been thinking, people need to get wiser, but this is so big and so deep that it's just been impossible because we've had so many bindings put on us. And this matrix is where they control the money system. So they control everything. There's a world government. This might be a newsflash, but it is true. There's world money system. We don't do things here. I know there's the ruble and the pound and the dinar and the pesos and the dollar and all this. They're all the same. They make all decisions about controlling everything on Earth. When they have these meetings in Davos and Geneva and all that, they've all decided what they're going to do way before they have the meeting. That meeting is just a show, but they decide everything before that. But they've controlled the money, so they've had us working They give us loans to buy our house, and then we work really hard, and then we have to pay them back more money because we have to give them interest for that money that they gave us for our house. We have to pay taxes to them. So like they give us money, and then we have to pay them back for giving us money. And we're working, and all this work and energy that we're producing, this loosh, they can turn around and use that because it energizes them, it feeds them, and allows them to keep functioning to continue the dark things that they're doing. So it's really messed up. So Matrix 3 is called the Coburn dark AI. It was connected to Mars, Mercury, and Earth, and connected to lower astral level 3 dark AI. All the largest gateway portals in the world are tied to this lower astral inorganic life located in, actually, get this, Israel. This was run by CyberLife underneath the Middle East inorganic humans, and this was set to run an overlay of the gateways of heaven. This is why every other country has attacked Israel, and there's one in Iran, and because there are two gateways there, everybody's fighting about getting in there, and so there's just been war after war after war there. This dark guy created a dark aura in the energetic field of every human to prevent them from a full energetic connection. Connection to each other, connection to source, all of that. And to somehow influence personal energy fields, trying to make sure that your entire energy field did not merge with others worldwide. How many times have you sat back and noticed how they've tried to divide us? You're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're Republican, you're Democrat, you're disabled, you're not, you're whatever. I mean, there's so many different ways they've tried to divide us so that we're not talking to each other. I've had the privilege of meeting people from all over the world in my crazy life that I have. And what I've realized, we're all the same. We're all love, we're all light, we're all beings. And when you see someone, you're looking at God manifest in a human form. So everyone is spectacular. You can see the craziest looking person on the street in the world, but if you just really look, they're just like you. They're God in human form. So that was about it. Anyway, so moving on, we're almost through with these dark matrix. This is called Orion Dark AI. This AI was responsible for all the money curses and was connected to the solar plexus that adhered to the 8 deadly sins. The number 8 was excluded by the Bible, commanding not to terminate one's life. By God's right, every soul was entitled to receive money, controlled by the dark house somehow. By their cunning and their trickeries, they were able to infiltrate every corporation, government, universities, education, pharmacy, medical care. They've infiltrated, you name an entity, they have infiltrated it. And they've used money to manipulate everything that happens. This Omega system has controlled over all of Matrix Dark AI computer systems worldwide. Therefore, all planes of existence controlled humans via their chakra system. That's how they're controlling the money, is actually through our own chakra system. And extracting human life force energy. Again, we provide the work, they take our money, they give us, and they take it away. And the weird thing about the money system is, like, it's all digital. Like, it's all, we're not going to get Bitcoin on it. It's not going to happen because we don't have the infrastructure to support that. But they give it to us like digitally. You get a loan at the bank and they say, okay, here's this much money. So they're not really giving you anything. Every time you make a transaction with your credit card, they're skimming money off that transaction, like 0.0 or whatever cents. But you can imagine every time you swipe your card in a day, or any of everybody on planet Earth, they're making a boatload of money off your backs. Your money they are taking. All these people, they're supposed to be all rich. It's not their money. They've taken it from us. They've scammed and just taken it. Have you ever wondered, why are we $34 trillion in debt? We have roads and bridges that are crumbling, our schools are crumbling, our infrastructure, our power system, our grids are failing. What happened to all that money? We were supposed to be given this money to be fixing all this stuff. Where did $34 trillion go when everything's broken and crumbling? That's why, because of this matrix. Okay, one more here. Matrix 1, this was the divine intervention dark AI system connected to the Shaw House, also known as the anti-divine intervention. This was tied to the sun, the lower astral level black sun, and crystalline time on Earth and all planets. So again, the light and the dark. This was to allow the organic and inorganic life corrections to exist, to come into being controlled by the matrices. God creates life, and the opposite side, AI, creates the exact opposite. They monitor and mirror everything we do. This was the role of the dark AI system matrices. Everything we create, they have been trying to destroy. The storm dark AI was connected to shoreline, the Makemake, Venus, Earth, and Mars, creating a gray overlay to higher dimension cities of light and earth. This was our gateway to heaven's direct connection to God's source. There was an overlay portal created affecting humans by putting etheric implants tied to Saturn, a dark AI system that was tied to the deadly sins such as alcohol, drugs, smoking, porn, lust, addictions, including food. Can you imagine what it would be like on planet Earth if we didn't have people suffering from drug addictions and lust and pornography and smoking and alcohol? That's how entities get in your system, is through those things. So they make it look so attractive. I remember when I was in high school, there were all these cigarette commercials. Oh, it's cool to smoke, and no, they were gonna really do a lot of damage to us, and that was through that matrix. So I'm done talking about the matrices now. I'm glad you're staying with me. Everybody just take a deep breath. It's really gonna be better, I promise. Since those that didn't go into light, so some people, when they died, they really manipulated the death cycle too. The people that didn't go into the light, they were trapped in the astral, the lower astrals, and they were living and attaching to other humans. So have you ever done something and you thought, why the heck did I do that? Have you ever had a really bad mood? Have you ever wondered, is this my energy or is something attaching to me? If it's negative, I promise it's not yours, more than likely. It's an energy entity that's attached to you. These are dark beings and you have to clear them every day. And if you want to talk more about that, I'm happy to do it, but not now. Okay. The Braxis were here on the earth, and they ruled Earth for 3,000 years. And they were taking the life force energy from humans, which again is called Lush. And just as we participate in new moon gatherings, the dark ones mirror us, and in their new moon gatherings and things, they do all kinds of rituals and sacrifices and things like that. Oh, thank you, bud. Oh, sorry, I have to do this. Sorry. So anyway, they do all these rituals. Sorry. Have to remember what it is.
Not those.
Nothing like that. Sorry. So, I guess I can't think and type when I'm trying to think ahead. There we go. Okay. So the Abraxas ruled for 3,000 years. They were mirroring everything, and they have black magicians that are extremely, extremely powerful. They have the ability to walk past you on the street and implant thoughts that trigger these implants and matrices that are on you and make you do evil things. When I worked in the prison system, I know firsthand inmates would tell me that they could actually hear someone tell them, kill this person or do whatever bad thing was in front of them. And they remember having a conscious thought that, I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? But these things are so powerful, they override what the human is doing. And they'll slit somebody's throat and wonder what the heck they just did. And it's been pretty interesting. So the fact that we as humans have been through so much we're still here. They've tried everything they can to destroy us. They've tried all these matrices. They've tried to take us out and cyborg us and everything else. Guess what? We're still here. We're still able to create. We're still able to, limited, granted, but we still do. We create. We are innovative. We strategize. We adapt. We're amazing. The fact that you're here in this room today lets me know that you are absolutely rock star, because you have survived some of the most incredible things that any creature or being has ever had to endure. So just know you're amazing. The Raxus left planet Earth, and then Marduk, which I mentioned earlier, he was Enlil's son, who was the head of the Anunnaki. He, as I mentioned, he was very, very dark, and he was put in place. Marduk was appointed as the controller of planet Earth. He was the ruling person. He was ambassador to the Galactic Council. He was ground command, so any incoming, it was his job to protect and defend planet Earth. He was also the controller of all the money systems, all of it. So he did not like humans very much. And he had a lot of fun just playing with us. Like, you know, he treated us like, oh, if you have a little spider and you think, oh, I'm going to kill that because I don't want that spider crawling on me. So we're like that. You know? Oh, I'll just smash that little human. I don't care about him. They're just annoying. I just like playing with them. And so they put all these diseases and they affected us with all these addictions, mental traps, blocking our connections to source so we would die. And they wanted to make sure that they always had a good supply of earthlings. So as I said, we were created not to die, but they created this incarnation system. So you can see they made us humans like get sick and have all these diseases and all this suffering, and then they made us die. But then they turned around, we had to flip right back down and come back in as a new little, healthy little, like Bill, the new young meat. And it was just this vicious cycle. And we've gone around and around and around through this death and incarnation for eons. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of readings and I've had a lot of lifetimes, and they've been pretty intense. I was actually a warrior in Atlantis, an avatar. That was kind of cool to know that about myself. Kind of explains why I've been asked to do so many things here. I guess they think I'm a warrior or something. But so they did this trap because they wanted to always have a fresh new supply of the best. Marduk would take pleasure in prodding us and poking us. Like that's why he put these systems in to do like brain implants and things like that so that we would do things. They also had an agenda plan to depopulate planet Earth because of all these evil things they were doing. They polluted our water, our air, our land, and so stuff's not growing like it's supposed to. Mother Earth has been sick for a long time because of all the pollution. It's been horrible, and they realized, oh man, maybe we did a little too much. So, okay, well, we need to keep these resources for ourselves, so we're going to have to get rid of all these humans so that we can make sure that resources are preserved for us. So they planned this depopulation. I remember listening to a TED Talk. Bill Gates came out in 2017, and he said, right now, we have 8 billion people on planet Earth, and by 2030, we want to get that down to 3 billion. The hair on the back of my head stood up when I heard that. I was like, how are they going to get rid of 5 billion people? I can't even wrap my head around 5 billion people. That's a lot of zeros. Well, they came up with this plan, and it was called, the parasites, all of that. So they brought these parasites, which they're actually called architectural heterogeneous online systems. They're AIs. The human body was not designed to be able to have parasites. Planet Earth was not designed. The ecosystem of Earth was not able to invent or evolve parasites. It's been baffling scientists forever. They can't figure out, how is this even happening? How is this evolving? There's nothing on Earth that would make this happen. Well, it's because they were creating them, and they're called, what I just said, architecture heterogeneous online systems. They're called archons. And these archons create parasites of all different varieties. So the coronavirus was a parasite. It was created by the dark ones, our government, governments around the world. This was a worldwide thing. And I remember thinking at the time, right before I really started taking the deep dive, I was like, okay, I'm remembering from 8th grade science, okay, this is a virus. Viruses, they proliferate and multiply so quickly, they're not even the same thing. The life cycle of a virus is 7 days. So how could we be 3 years later talking about this virus and all this stuff? Like, this does not make sense. How can you make a vaccine for something that you can't even get the postulates to identify it? How can you make a vaccine for that? How can you cure it? And Fauci had a published study that I read in 2008. He wrote a peer-reviewed study in the Lancet, which the Lancet is like our version of the American Journal of Medicine, but it's an international medical report, whatever. In 2008, he came out and he said, well, because they've been trying to find the cure for the common cold, and the coronavirus is the closest related cold virus of any virus. And he said, well, we don't have to find a cure because we don't have to find a vaccine or whatever because we found a cure. Ivermectin and hydrochloroquine will cure this because they eat parasites. So we don't need. I remember reading this, and when I went back to get it, what they do is when people start questioning, they scrub it. They don't want you knowing what will not support their agenda. And that was taken down. I mean, I cannot tell you all the times I've read something and I go back to show somebody and it's gone. Just like that. Because they are paying attention to what we are paying attention to. So just know that. So when I think about all the things that they've done, they've genetically modified our food. Most of the food that is available right now is synthetic. It's made in the laboratory. That's why I don't really go to the aisles of the grocery store. I get my food at the farmer's market because at least I know it's from the ground and it's not adulterated. They even modify genetically mayonnaise. Why would you need to do that? We're talking about vinegar and eggs. They genetically modified. Go look at a bottle of mayonnaise and just read the ingredients. It'll just kind of be another mind blower. So we're going to talk a little bit now about, in addition to the matrices, these aliens implanted implants in us. I'm going to go through them just really quickly, just so it helps you understand. When you're questioning these things, know there's a reason why these things are happening, and it's not because of you. Just know that. Again, we're magnificent beings. So these alien agenda implants are being used in the planetary field and in the collective mind for mind control purposes. They have been interfacing with our personal, natural, bodily, nervous system processes. Our mental and emotional diseases creates energetic blocks which lead to physical disease. So they've been implanting all this stuff with us, and it's blocking us. And I don't know, a lot of books that I've read, there's a lot in the library that talk about if you have a block, you're out of ease, and that will create disease in the body by design. So they also have the mind control via EMF. Mind control technologies are weapons which use electronic microchip implants, nanotechnologies, microwaves, and or electromagnetic waves to subvert an individual's sense of control over their own thinking, behavior, emotions, or decision making by attacking the brain and the nervous system. And we have towers right there. They're everywhere. And they are slapping us constantly. There's the crucifixion implant. I'm going to just go through these quickly. The purpose of the artificial cross architecture is to enslave humanity through the crucifixion and blood sacrifice of their inner spiritual being of the Christ self. It's a symbolic thing. They love symbols. Symbology is really big with the deep sea bloodlines and symbology. That's what they're all about. These systems of mind control were put in place so that humanity would live in fear. Remember how we don't like fear? It's not part of our DNA, how we were created, but that's what they've given us. And so that we're always afraid that, oh, if I don't do this, God's going to get me. Something bad's going to happen. I'm bad, all of that. That's not true. Most of the most prolific ways that this feeds the bloodthirsty vampires and mass killing and wars. There have been more wars fought over religion than any other reason that we've had wars, which, wait a minute, this is supposed to be God and what? It doesn't make sense, but that's what they do. Mm-hmm. We have SPEs, suppressor parasite entities. These are AI drones or archons that are formed by the imposter spirit force. They are mind and body parasites, and they are to suppress us from coming online with our higher abilities, to really tapping into our own higher self, our own ability to create all these amazing things. Then we have sexual mind control implants. This is used to propagate and feed highly destructive addictions and divert sexual attitudes and behavior within the global human population. It is so disturbing to me how you can take sex, the act of procreation, one of the most incredible gifts our Creator gave us, to be able to create life. It's such a beautiful, beautiful part of who we are as human beings. We're the only ones to do it the way we do. And they took that and they perverted it. They are selling little girls for prostitution. Legally, in the Muslim world, they can legally kill a woman that gets raped because she's damaged. Like no fault of her own, but they take them out in the desert and let them just live there until they die. The pedophilia that we have in the Vatican, the sadistic, masochistic fetish. I mean, you just go on. It's horrible what they've done to something that was the most beautiful thing that we were given as humans. Then we have holographic inserts. These work like software programs, and they contain controlled versions of nature of this reality. These are false realities that we have brought that we thought were real, and then developed mental beliefs about them. And then they have kept the timelines. Remember the timelines? I told you that was not a good thing. And they've been creating these timelines to keep us trapped. Have you ever heard anybody, how many thought the world was round, the earth was round, like your whole life? How many have heard, oh, the earth's really flat?
Nope.
Do you believe it? Do you believe the earth is flat?
Certainly perception isn't.
No, it's a hologram. They're creating these holograms to make us believe that what we're seeing is really real, and it's not. It's a hologram. The earth is round, trust me. I skydived, I can see the curvature when I'm looking up from planet Earth. Like, I can tell you, from my personal experience, nobody convinced me the earth is not flat. It's just round. I saw it. And with ballistics and everything, all the signs we have, the earth is round. So I'm just here to clear that up in case anybody had a question. Okay, all alien implantation and reptilian ownership. Mind control programs enforced through alien implantation and their entity attachments or possessions are two sides of the same coin. The energetic signature of the alien implant will depend on two genetic and consciousness relationship that the person has to the entity that has placed the implant in their human target. So there have been people that have known they've had entities in their body. Lady Gaga, who is, maybe you guys, she's kind of a more pop star, not pop star, that's not the word, but she's more contemporary. She said one time, sometimes she can't tell if it's her voice singing or the others that are inside of her. Mm. There's a lot of famous people, movie stars and things that have been, they've sold their soul to the devil for fame and popularity, and they don't even, she came out and said it. I don't even know who's singing half the time. Mm. So reptilian tail, it is designed to block Kundalini, which we all know, the Kundalini life force that runs through it, that is designed to block activation while feeding the lower negative ego mental body complex. They have scalar tagging. So if you were really a rock star in a previous earth, they're tracking you to find out what you're doing down here. They need to bring you in or whatever. And I have experienced that. It can be very painful sometimes. But don't worry, because it's all going to be okay. Zeta cells, it creates a multitude of blockages that separate the heart sensory abilities from being recognized by the mental body or the conscious mind. Then they have the aging disease or cell death programs. These collective consciousness diseases programs are kept alive in the mass consciousness to activate diseases, implement pharmaceutical and drug dependencies, take over the central nervous system functions while shortening health lifespans. I see this big time in our reality. I never watch TV. I don't have time, but if I've been at somebody's house and TV's on, I am amazed. They'll say, "Oh, if you have a rash, take this pill. Side effects include," and there's 20 minutes of disclosures, and some of them could be death. And people are running to the drugstore to get them. We have been so entrained and held by these things, and we just do it. And it's just like, it's important to wake up. Zeta cells, let's see. Oh, I already talked about the 666 implant or Templar cells. This level of the blockage in quarantine is what is referred to as the 666 cells, and is a genetic block in the 6-dimensional frequency layers residing in the oversoul bodies and crown chakra. Then there's Metatronic implants. Metatronic reversals connect to Metatronic implants in the shadow body or negative form that are designed to reverse and drain life force out of the earth body and the human body, our form and our spirit. Those Metatronic implants are sapping us from all areas. The crucifixion implants, this is one of the largest lies to divide our race. This is a mockery to further enslave humans into believing the tortured human and that they need someone to be a savior so that we don't realize our potential. How many times I'm so sick of hearing, "Oh, so-and-so's going to fix everything." No, he's not. He's not. We are. That's
you mean
a
Neo's
lie.
not going to save us?
Huh? What?
Neo is not going to save us?
Well, that's an interesting question, Phil. I'll leave it to you. Because there are people that are helping us. Believe that. I know this sounds really dark, and I'm sorry. I'm almost going to have 2 more, and then we're going to move on to the better stuff. We have Crown of Thorns is designed to distort the natural energetic circuitry of the crown chakra and block the higher self communication descending from higher dimensions being transmitted into the crown receivers, because the crown chakra is where we get the downloads from the higher realms. The glandular system implants are malfunctions in the path of the kundalini rising that impact the brain receivers and the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the pineal gland, which we know is important, our third eye, the thyroid, and our thymus. The solar to earth chakra implant is a distortion of the 11th butic layers to interfere with the 11D communication from the avatar self to be unable to ground into their 12D field hub on earth based chakra interface. Last one is the splitter technology. It is a type of AI encoding that runs as a mind control script that is embedded into a variety of types of media, such as written words, spoken words, of an intellectual video, an individual, audio recordings that can pass on the same scripted code to another person that resonates that same frequency or information. So be really careful about what you're watching and what you're listening to, because that is another way that they are bringing these encoding systems to us to get us to start believing something that, again, is not real. So be really careful about what you're absorbing. So now let's talk real quick about the timelines.
Is there hope? Is there hope? You're going to give us the hope, right?
Yes, I am, I promise. Just
Okay.
please nobody leave, because I can't put you all through this and then not give you the good stuff. So please do the same with me. So this is a picture I found that I just thought was really, really poignant. This is our DNA strand, and this is us. They have bound us every way they can. And so, again, I just really want you guys to hear the fact that we've been through so much, and we still love one another. We create, we do such amazing things, even in spite of everything we have. It's all going to be good. So, let's talk about the timelines. Okay, this I wanted to show. I forgot to change my picture. So this is all the AI coding. This, all the stuff I've been talking about, this is it. There's all these things, and we're just being bombarded. So, let's talk about the timelines. These are a series. There's been timelines on Earth once we came down to the third dimension density, they put timelines in place. Some timelines were thousands of years, some were 138 years. I mean, they've all been different, depending on what was happening on planet Earth and where humans were at the time. There's been beautiful, wonderful light timelines, so there was nothing but God's pure light, that crystalline, pure light essence. And there have been times where it's been really, really dark. When they created Earth and when they tried this great experiment, they had a metric. God said we can't ever let the evil get more than 79% on planet Earth. Good always has to be at least 21%. If it got below that, then God was going to pull the plug. So we have been at 79% evil for a very long time. And that's why all of these things that we've just been talking about have happened. But there's still been that 21% of good that we've been able to do miraculous things at only 21%. So in 1996, there was a timeline that the Galactic Council, everybody decided we needed to shift things. So they started to do that. And 1996, believe it or not, we were actually on the verge of being able to go into the light side. But because dark was controlling 79%, they're like, no, we don't want to give up our power. We love being able to control humans and get all this yummy lush, and we're not giving it up. So it was considered that we would do this timeline shift. And what happens in a timeline shift is fascinating. When they do that, I have to read this. The first thing that takes place when a timeline shift happens is all the Earth records get uploaded into an AI holographic simulation. The information gets uploaded into an AI holographic simulation, and we call that the timeline. The information that gets uploaded is things like, oh, what was the world like? What were buildings like? What has been torn down? What land existed? Because the Earth, through the different timelines, that's why we have the continents where it used to be one big landmass, and after the resurrection, stuff pulled apart and stuff's been moving totally. Every timeline shift, stuff gets moved around. Sometimes it's very subtle, and they try to keep us from noticing it, but they haven't been completely all the times successful in that. Have you ever heard of Bigfoot, Sasquatch?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in them?
Mm-hmm.
They're dimensional.
They are true beings. They are one of the first beings that were created here on planet Earth. They're very in tune to the elementals and nature. They've done so much for us here on planet Earth to keep the fungi, the bacteria, the animals, the plants, all of that. They're amazing. The reason people have had sightings is because sometimes when there's a timeline switch, stuff doesn't quite go over smoothly and there's a glitch in the system. And that's when people have seen Sasquatch. They absolutely are real. They are doing so many good things for humanity all the time. We just don't see them, but the ones that have seen them, it's just been, as I said, in the glitch. You probably remember hearing about the Mandela effect. That was a really big thing that people noticed because they were telling us that he lived and then he died. I can't even remember now. Was it he lived first and then he was dead? But people are like, wait a minute, I remember watching the news about that. I know, this is crazy. I remember from personal experience, there was this little book that I read to my kids. It was called The Berenstain Bears. It was like a series. It was just a sweet little childhood book. I loved it, The Berenstain Bears. It used to be called STIN, and then I noticed a few years later when my kids were older.
Bernstein.
It's Bernstein.
They changed it.
And that was one of those glitches. Every time these timeline things happen, you gotta pay attention, folks, is what I'm saying, because we're things up not so much now because it's changing. So, anyway, those are things to pay attention, and we continued on. So all these things have been brought about. In 2017, the Galactic Council said, there is so much evil, we've got to stop this. This is done. Marduk, you got to go. Because he kept trying to convince them they could maintain the order, but they realized, no, this is bad. We've got to change. So in August of 2016, he was taken from the Earth. Let's see what else I have here. And so a new ambassador was declared. Her name is Kimberly Gogan. She's ground command. She's ambassador to the Galactic Council. She is now controlling the money system. It's not known publicly because they're trying to hide it from us. The money system has been completely changed. They're not using the old Omega system that the Chronos that they were using to control us with the money. That's all been wiped off the planet Earth. There's underground military bases. That's why Bermuda Triangle, that's why ships were disappearing. They were going to those underground bases. A lot of stuff that's been puzzling humanity. We've got tons of books in the library about all this stuff. It's cool. But so anyway, she is running the show now. But a lot of these constructs are coming down now. But the evil, like there's contracts, once a contract is written, it has to expire before you can stop or change anything. You can't renegotiate. They're in granite. So we still have some of Margie's original contracts that we're waiting for them to expire so that we as humanity can bring in this new timeline. The Galactic Council has decided that we on planet Earth have reached this. This is a picture of the magnetic resonance frequency of humans. They have been able, they have the technology to watch us when we're watching TV or something on Facebook or some whatever we're looking at. They can monitor and register our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our attitudes. And even though after everything our governments have done and these dark power brokers behind the scenes have done, this is it. This is amazing. Look at this. We are so ready. We don't need to be controlled anymore. That was the reason they kept trying to extend the timelines. In 2018, they were trying to change the timelines, and they said, no, we'll just extend it because humans aren't ready yet. Well, it was decided, we're ready. This proves it right here. We are ushering in the golden age of humanity. And what that means is that we as humans, every person on planet Earth has to get in touch with their light side. You have to bring the dark side because it's all about the balance. Nothing can exist without balance. So you've got to do some shadow work, get that dark side of yourself together in harmony with your light side. And every individual on planet Earth has to do that. And it's a collective thing. Every person on planet Earth has to do that. That is the ascension process, when everybody gets completely balanced, all together at the same time. Can you imagine how amazing it is going to be on planet Earth? They're no longer doing that incarnation cycle. This is our spirit, and look at that. Look how powerful. Wow, is that cool? And so every day, as you're saying your prayers or grounding or doing whatever, remember you have all these chakras, all these systems connected to the roots of Mother Earth, deep center of the root, clear up to the top to the source of the great central sun. That connects you to everything you can be connected to that is good and powerful and will help you find your journey through the dark and light integration for all humanity. You guys, this is amazing. We are going to do it. We are doing it. Like the council said, you humans, you guys are good. We've already created the light age. We just have to catch up to that knowingness of that. So wake up, tell everybody you know. This is good news. This is really good news. So I want to do a little exercise with you guys. This is the good part. This will help you this is your job, this is your assignment. This will help you because we are becoming into the oneness of all it is, the everything. To know who we really are, our magnificence, power of everything that we have been given by our Creator. I want to do a little exercise with you. Can I go ahead and do this? You can't leave without this, really. We got to do this because this will bring everything together. So I want to have everybody close your eyes because we're going to do just a little experiment that really gives you guys a chance to, when you go home, think about this and make this a daily activity. It is time now for us to envision a beautiful new earth, one that we imagine living on, one we vividly experience in our hearts and souls. When our families and loved ones and enough people can visualize and feel this is what is going to change things profoundly. Let's begin by taking 3 deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in nourishment, and breathing out anything that no longer serves us. Get settled in and keep a softness around your heart, and just rest as you are finding relief. That is nothing you need to do in this moment. Setting down your individual worlds and worries, you need nothing but your open heart and this beautiful body that carries you. Breathe in for a moment, coming down into your heart, the home that is you, the place of calm, the place of still. Imagine observing the earth as she is right now. Looking upon the land, we are seeing a lot of people suffering, a lot of people, organizations, governments planning all of these things. Masked agendas, vaccinations, there is war, poverty, lack, limitation, and separation. Seeing the world exactly as it is, being aware of the world, observing how it is. Then I want you to see another earth directly above the current earth. So it is kind of like a cell dividing. There is another earth directly above the old earth. And I want you to zoom into that new earth. And I want you to feel what is upon that new earth. Look at the land, the oceans, the communities, the towns, the people, and nature. It is absolutely beautiful. There are people talking together. There are people walking and holding hands, saying prayers. People gathered together by hundreds of thousands in meditation, feeling deeply nourished by the earth. While drinking in the light codes streaming down from above, smiling and holding their hearts. You are feeling this beautiful radiant light coming out of every single person, infused directly into the atmosphere of the earth. And this new earth now illuminates with this divine, sacred, loving energy. Feel yourself living upon that earth. You are walking along and people are saying hello and telling you to have a wonderful day, and you are reciprocating. You are walking through a garden, seeing children playing, and everyone is having a wonderful time. Everybody is greeting you, and they are so happy that you are here because your love is radiating out through the entire garden and throughout all of the town because you feel this love, this kindness. Everywhere you look, there are people working together. They are feeling a deep reciprocity with nature and with each other. People are sharing projects. People are creating community gardens. Some are singing and playing music, and some are dancing. People are praying. People are building playgrounds for children. Some people are giving away some of their delicious foods. Everyone knows they are sacred energy in form, co-creating with one another for the pure pleasure and joy of it. There is no poverty whatsoever. There's no battling, no separation consciousness. Everybody is getting along. There is nothing but heartfelt greetings and heartfelt love that is radiating out from this entire earth. There's no talk of mass vaccinations, no talk of lockdowns. Why would we even need such a thing? Those days are long gone. We have learned to cooperate, we have learned to co-create and exist as a community. We work together one with another. We see each other as ourselves. We would never think to judge, control, or think that someone is right or someone is wrong. We would not do that because everybody is us. Our neighbors are our family. Strangers are just a family member we have not yet met. Everybody is one, and everyone is part of the whole. There is only consciousness, there is only love, and there is compassion. There is joy and there is happiness everywhere that we go upon this planet. You can see yourself going from land to land, different lands all over the world, and it all remains the same. No war, no poverty, no money. There is really just gifting, bartering, trade, and contribution. This is what this world represents, and it feels 1,000 times better than the world we felt we existed in. And how do we expect to get this new earth? Until we visualize it and until you see it within yourself, knowing that this earth exists because we are right here, right now with it. It is inside your heart. And the more time that you spend inside this earth, feeling its community, its love, its happiness, that earth is going to manifest into your life because you are giving it focus, you are giving it power, and you are giving it attention. And as you do that, bit by bit, this new earth is going to come together in your life because that is what you are putting your energy into, and you will see versions of this earth coming together. Imagine hundreds of millions of people are doing this together, feeling these similar frequencies by coming together. What happens to the old? It dissolves, it breaks away, and in its place comes this beautiful new earth. See this now, the earth just above the old earth is now merging together with the old and creating a fusion, and that old new earth is now crumbling away because it is old and decaying. It crumbles away, and beneath that old shell is the radiance of that brand new earth that you have just experienced. And you feel that new earth coming into your current reality, your current space, and it makes you smile because of all the things you have witnessed in this brand new earth. How the people are, how that new earth is, so pristine, pure water, clean air, nourishing soil. Everybody is in brotherhood, sisterhood. We are one. When you put your attention in that and hold it there as often as you can, day by day, you are going to become truly amazed of what comes into your reality. Because out of the ashes, what emerges is a brand new earth. And you can see pieces of it starting to come into your reality here and now. By holding the space and feeling like you are holding the hands of every man, woman, and child upon this planet, that there are 7 to 8 billion people on this planet holding hands and feeling this love. Whether they are aware of it or not, it is there. That is the intention that we have. And arriving here often will help you choose more of what will bring you joy, will help you love your journey, and bring along a much more prosperous earth. It is time to remember that this is your favor, that you are in pure favor. We need to learn together, to work together, to resolve together, and become wise together. Not to feel that we have to be in charge, that we are right and something else is wrong. Instead, learn to stand in openness, and all that chaos, distrust, despair, inertia, and contempt under each of these symptoms of discontent is something pure. This is the seed of yourself and all of humanity. You can reach this pure self with your own presence through your heart. Allow this to grow, expand, and radiate out, connecting you to the hearts of others. Place your hands on your heart and repeat these words. Everybody, place your hands on your heart. I see you.
I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
And I love you.
And I love you.
With these words, we shift into the territory of the heart and shine the light on our presence. Our love for who we are and our love for each other is what is most needed now. Know the heart that is beating in your chest is the heart that is beating in every single one of these, and we all speak that one language of the heart. You are feeling that love, that compassion, the beauty of this new earth that is fused together here and now in your reality. More kindness will come because the universe does not deny you. The universe is a living mirror that what you are feeling will be the product of your reflection. Remember to remember who you are and feel that new earth as your earth here and now. Take in a deep breath. Breathing out. And welcome to the new earth of love. Love is the most powerful force on earth. It is the most powerful tool we have. focus on it every day. Take yourself through this, your own words, however you want to do it, but do that every day. And then let's sit back in love and be amazed.
All right.
So it is.